Hello, welcome to a very special episode of Swapping Joysticks. I'm your host, Ben Ostwick, and joining me as always...
It's me, I'm Ed Knight. I am a cozy, chaotic content creator here on Twitch.
No, you're not. It's too many. But yeah, welcome. This is Swapping Joysticks Live. We're doing this live on Twitch for my 4-year partnerversary on Twitch. And we're also in the middle of Key 3, which is Jeff Keighley's version of E3.
Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, I don't like that.
The pro name.
No, SGF. Summer Game Fest. Did you say it with the singular?
Always.
Yeah. Not Games
It's just
Fest.
one game. There's only one game that we're celebrating this entire weekend.
Yeah, just the one.
Yeah.
It's because in a compound noun, you don't pluralize it. That's why you say football and not feetball. And car park, not cars park. Did you know that?
Is Summer Game Fest a compound noun?
Yeah. It's got 3 words, summer, game, and fest together as a noun.
All right, Mr. Techie.
There you go. But yeah, no, welcome. So we're going to be, people that are listening or watching this live later, or they're listening afterwards, we are going to have a little bit of interaction with the chat, but we will make sure we mention whatever is being said so you don't miss out on anything. But if you are watching this, if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube, you won't, in fact, you will see this if you've got the audio version because the logo will have changed on there. But we have a new look. We've got a new logo. And at the moment, if you're watching us on a visual player, you can see a amazingly put together, that took me like 45 minutes and Ed was still whinging about some of the proportions, as he always does. There's a new look.
I never whinge about proportions.
Whinge, it's too big. And then, so we've got a new look. We've got a new logo. Thank you so much to Elliot. He's the person who also created the logo for Stream It Beat It, which is the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity streaming event that's happening actually this September. It was last October, but it's this September. And I loved what he did so much with that logo. I was like, hey, can you do the Swapping Joysticks kind of brand update for us? And this is what we have. And we've got these 2 cute little things. In fact, actually, whatever you're looking at, you will be able to see the logo, I'm sure. But there's 2 joysticks. There are 2 joysticks. A tall one of somebody laughing to themselves.
Looking very smug.
And very smug with a very high neck. And then there's somebody looking a little bit shorter, looking slightly bemused with glasses.
Moody.
Yeah, moody. Exactly. So
it's almost like it's us.
Yeah, it is. It's based on us. It is based on us. There you go. So yeah, we've got tea. We've got some chaotic. We've got some frogs and witches and some cozy chaotic vibes here. We've just watched the just to make it clear, we've just watched the Wholesome Direct, and there were.
It was really cozy and really chaotic.
No, I think it was really cool. I love that they brought out like creators and content creators to kind of introduce some games and as a kind of guest hosts. But there was definitely cozy chaotic on the bingo.
Oh yeah,
it crossed out about 5 or 6 times.
Yes.
So
some great faces, some great streamers.
Exactly, including Iona, who I've had on Jet Streamers, and also I went up in the air with her. I went and played City Skylines. I played City Skylines 2, 50 meters in the air. She was just around the corner. She was fine. She was just chilling and been like, yeah, this is great. This is fun. This is a bit high, isn't it? A bit weird.
She was cozy and you were chaotic.
I was chaotic. I wasn't chaotic. I went quiet. I was that terrified.
That's a Q, not a C. You can't say that.
What?
Quiet.
Quiet and chaotic.
No, it must begin with a C.
Yeah, it does. Quiet. If you Gary, it does. But yeah, so we're in the middle of Summer Game Fest. The Xbox One is tomorrow. We've just had the Summer Games Fest and the Wholesome Direct. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about kind of what we've been playing. Ed's had a preview of Dawntrail, which he had in Berlin. He had a good old Dawntrail in Berlin. And then, we might even open up to the chat for some questions. So actually, yeah, if you've got any questions you want us to answer, we don't normally do this because we don't have time usually. We don't want the podcast to be 2 hours because we used to, and then it went on for a bit too long. But if you've got any questions for us, feel free to pop them in the Swapping Joysticks Discord channel, just so they don't get lost.
Yes.
And we'll go and check those out. But we will answer them. And yeah, if you've got any questions, any discussion points you want us to talk about, go and do it there. It's not going to be often that we do a live one. Who knows? But yeah, if you go and pop stuff there, we can make sure that we answer them. But yes, one of the first questions, by the way, I see is, Ed, you didn't get Ben T. No, he did.
I did. I always do.
And I'll try not to spill this one down. Like, luckily, the camera's zoomed in a bit, but right down there, I've got a big brown mark on my T-shirt from coffee.
Lovely.
But Ed, should we start with you and your dawn railing, or should we go straight into Summer Game Fest?
We can talk about Dawntrail.
Okay. So how was Berlin?
Also Dawntrail. So we flew to Berlin.
This is Final Fantasy 14, by the way.
This is Final Fantasy 14. The next expansion is Dawntrail, or Dawnrail, as Ben likes to call it.
It's my massive head blocked the T in one of the pictures. That's why.
Yes. And last week we flew to Berlin.
I didn't.
And then, well, I did, with some content creators who were
Cozy and chaotic?
cozy and chaotic, and also some journalists. And
what are they like? Moody and miserable.
yeah, we all are. Very critical. There we go.
Critical, yeah. Rude and critical.
No, it needs to begin with a C. Just critical. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we went to Berlin, and then we went out of Berlin to Potsdam, which it turns out is not in Berlin. But it is a little town outside of Berlin. It's very cute and quaint.
Kinky?
No, it wasn't very kinky.
Disappointing.
Actually, that's a lie. We went to a gift shop and
Oh, yeah.
they had chili that you could grow that would grow in the shape of a penis.
Yeah.
Like it had been tampered with so that when it grows to look like a penis. And I was like, no, it does not look like a chili. Nor does it look like a penis. I was immensely disturbed.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was weird. We also went to a Lindt shop where they had Lindt pick and mix.
And Ed came back with 7 Lindt chocolate, little mini.
Seven. There was more than 7.
It was
It was like 7 types, and I got 2 each. So we have 1 each.
It's very good. Yeah, I love. I think Moni's reaction when you shared a picture was like, "This is why you went to a whole Lindt shop and got like the world's smallest pick and mix bag."
It was pricey.
I bet
right?
it was. Yeah.
I think it was like €5 for 100 grams.
Bloody hell! I remember when it was. I remember thinking that like I think it was Woolworths pick and mix was expensive, and that was like £1.30.
Yeah. It was. So I think 100 grams of Lindt was probably about 5 little truffles.
As Moni says, it was the tiniest bag ever.
It wasn't.
And honestly, Moni, we've had like
I was very generous.
We've had 1 chocolate. We've been allowed 1 chocolate every 3 days.
No.
Ed, how many are left?
Well, I haven't counted them.
There's about 10 left out of the 14.
Right. We've had 6.
3 each.
Yeah.
In the time that you've been back, we've had 3 little chocolates. I mean, I'm very, very...
They were very nice.
They are, and I'm very grateful.
We had a champagne one yesterday,
I'm very
which
grateful.
was very tasty.
It's just when it comes to something that's like a bit of a treat, Ed doesn't treat himself. Ed is like, I
never
must
treat
work.
myself.
Ed's like, I must work.
I hate myself.
Exactly. Like, not hate yourself, but you don't ever treat yourself. I think you think a treat is like a bad thing.
No, it's when something's good, I like to eke it out and make it last as long as possible.
Edging yourself.
I am edging myself.
No.
Exactly, with chocolate.
But like, so if you've got some good chocolate or something, you would literally go off before you eat it. Like Moni brought her Austrian balls, her Mozart balls, and they were on the coffee table for like about a year before we
there was like
decided to put in the bin.
maybe 1 left.
There were about 5, but I ate them when you weren't like looking.
Oh,
Because I was like, you're not eating them. And then sometimes I'll eat them and you'd be like, oh, you're eating all of those, are you? And I'm like, yes, because you aren't. Should have some domestic on there.
wow. Anyway, we went to a Lindt shop. That was nice. The next day, the reason we were in Potsdam is because the preview was held in Potsdam Biosphere, which it turns out is not a sphere.
It's full of bugs.
It's a square building. If you're from the UK, it's a little bit like the Eden Project, but basically it is this sort of environmental building where they've recreated a rainforest, and it's full of animals and insects and birds and weird things that we had a little tour of.
Wasn't there a bug that you got to touch or play with?
Well, okay, we'll do this first then. So basically, halfway through the afternoon, I won't say we got bored of the demo, but we'd played a lot of the demo, so we were like, let's go and do something else. So we had a tour, and we got to have a tour around and see all the plants. And yes, there were giant bugs that you could hold, and I saw a lot of legs and nearly ran a mile until I realized it was not a spider. And had it been a spider, I would have left the entire building.
You just squished it as well.
Yeah, I would have literally squished it and ran. So, well, talking about squishing, one of the things was a butterfly room, and they had loads of butterflies and moths just like fluttering around you, and I was really tempted to just stand in the middle and go. And then I thought, no, that'd be really rude.
Yeah, you don't go to a zoo and kill the animals. You can go start poaching the elephants. So,
But then there was one on a wall, like a really literally huge sort of, I'd say sort of double hand span butterfly, like bright blue, really lovely on the wall. And the German lady who was doing the tour was literally like, yeah, that will die in a week. Like, that is literally dying. Like, what? I was like, wow.
What did she say that they'll last like 2 weeks or something?
Yeah. And this one, she was like, yeah, this one's literally dying right now. We're like, what? You're literally showing us a dying butterfly. Lovely. Yeah. So yeah, and they had like a stick insect that was probably about 6 inches long, that you could hold.
Which is about this big.
You think. And some sort of other weird, like huge thing. I was like, I'm literally not touching that. But then she had like cocoa nibs, like pure cacao, that she had, and everyone was like, "Ugh, I'm not eating that." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not holding an insect, but I'll happily eat something." I was like, "Sure, it's just pure cacao. It tastes great."
Oh,
very bitter,
100%
nice.
chocolate is the most disgusting stuff. Because when I was on the old keto diet, they're like, you can have some chocolate, but it has to be 80% or higher. And I remember going to a place and it was 95% lint. I have never eaten anything more disgusting that looked like chocolate in my life. Actually, no, there are more disgusting things that look like chocolate, but I would never eat that.
I've got no problem with eating that, and a lot of people are like, I'm not touching that.
It's wrong.
All she had, it's great.
It's wrong.
I literally, the people who did eat it were like, this is disgusting. I was like, I'll have a second bit. This is nice.
Yeah, but you don't like treating yourself with sweet things, do you?
This is true. And she also had some like dried snake skin to touch, and everyone's like, not touching it. I was like, it's just skin. Like, literally no problem with that.
I mean, I quite like it, like the chicken skin. That is my favourite part of the chicken.
I mean,
crispy chicken.
I don't think I'd eat snake skin.
Oh, they weren't giving you it to eat?
No.
It wasn't like seaweed slices?
No, it was in a Tupperware, but it was just like dead snake skin to hold.
Would you? What about a person's dead skin? Would you touch that?
Yeah, probably.
Like from the bottom of the foot, like a ped egg, parmesan.
Yeah, parmesan.
Yeah, sprinkle that on your pasta.
That smells a bit cheesy though. Anyway, so we got to hold weird things, and it was genuinely quite interesting to like look around and have a look.
And you didn't kill anything?
I didn't kill anything. No, I got a really good picture of a frog.
Yeah,
like National Geographic standard front cover. That's a frog picture. I was very impressed with myself.
Very cozy.
Yeah, it was a cozy and chaotic trip.
But anyway, tell us about Final Fantasy.
The reason it was in the biosphere is because Dawntrail is in a new region, which is very clearly based on North and South America.
So they took you to Berlin.
So we went to Berlin. South America being rainforest and jungle. So a lot of Tyrol is jungle and rainforest. So that's why we went to the biosphere to like give you a taste. And there was a big sign saying "Welcome to Tyrol" as we walked in, which was nice. But we got to play the game, and I got to meet Yoshi P.
You did again, third time, isn't it?
I think third time. That's right. I've got 3 pictures with him now.
Well, you've got the first one wasn't even with him, was it? It was just like
smug face
picture up of him.
No,
wasn't it? I thought it was where you could stand there and you could take a picture. I have
interviewed him 3 times.
Yeah, but the first time you didn't have a picture with him.
Yes, I did.
I thought it was one where you. Oh, was that a different? Do you meet him 4 times then?
Listen, I'm losing count. No,
he's just some executive that works for a video company,
That's true. No, I interviewed him for Final Fantasy 16 and got a picture.
Was that the first time?
Yep.
But you got a picture of him, not of you?
No.
I thought it was
It's like me and the whole crew with a picture.
Because I remember, it might have been before.
I'd scroll through my phone, but I can't.
But where was it where you met them and then they were like, if you want any pictures, and they just posed for you and then you took pictures?
That was another Final Fantasy 16 preview.
Okay, that was the first one.
Yes. And then we met him at FanFest.
Yeah.
Got a picture with him.
Great guy.
And then met him again. Anyway, so I got to see him again. Which was
He's an executive. He's just a random, kind of, could be anybody. Just a businessman.
He's dad to the Final Fantasy 14 community.
He's a businessman.
So I got to play some Dawntrail. So what we got to play was actually quite a short demo, to be honest. They had taken out all of the story. So I can't tell you anything about story. They removed NPCs. There was no dialogue. So I don't know what the story is. But we got to basically start in Tulialal, which is the main city. And then around that were a couple of different regions. There was like a jungle region. I can't remember the names of the jungle region. A mountainous region with like volcanoes, which is where like the rainbow fields are, which is very Peruvian. So we got to explore all of that. And we got to do a duty, which maybe I won't say what was in it because I don't want to spoil it for people. But it was a duty. It was very varied. It was, again, jungle themed, which was very cool. And playing that, we got to play as both of the new jobs. So there's Viper and there's Pictomancer. So we got to test them both out. Both very, very cool. I really like both of them. The Viper is like up close melee DPS. Essentially, like, because I'm playing Reaper for Endwalker, it sort of feels quite similar, and I guess quite similar to Samurai as well. There's basically a series of different combos, sort of three ability combos, using your double swords or double blades, and then you stick them together for like super moves after that once you've filled up your
Double-ended
gauge.
lightsaber.
Yeah, kind of. It's really cool. It looks really flashy and really fun. Pictomancer, I think I prefer. So I think I want to be Pictomancer when I play as
I could see
when I
that.
play Dawntrail. And I think partly it's because it's a caster, and I haven't really played as a magic character yet. So I really want to try that. It's a little bit complicated, but I like it. You've got your general sort of attacks, which is a mix of like black and white magic. So it's like a combo of, I think it's fire in red, blue in water, and green in arrow, I think, are like the three moves. And then that fills up your palette gauge, and then you can spend that to do bigger versions, which is like cyan in blizzard and whatever else.
So it looks pretty cool then when you're
and there's all this
casting
like
it.
all these like flashy colored effects, which looks really cool. And then you have your three canvases, where you paint a motif and then you sort of summon the spell, which feels quite similar to Summoner, which I know you've played. I haven't.
Yeah, I love. I need to play as Summoner more actually and level that character up, because I think later on you get some really cool looking literal summons, like summoning bosses that you've done before.
Ah, nice.
So yeah.
So yeah, Pictomancer feels like a mix of like Black Mage, White Mage, and Summoner. And the summon bits, so you've got creatures, weapons, and landscapes. And the landscape is like a buff. The weapon is like a big hammer that you can bot people with, and there's a little combo with that. And the creature one is more interesting because you have to summon different parts of the creature. So you paint like wings, and you paint a jaw and claws. And then once you've done a certain sequence, you then summon a Moogle that does a big attack for you and stuff like that.
I think I'll have to see this to picture.
It sounds quite complicated, but there's essentially those two things. There's your motifs and there's your color spells, and you can sort of alternate between them to do lots of effects. It's really fun. I really like it, and the gear is very cute.
Nikolai says there are pride rainbows and pride butterflies.
There is a rainbow attack where you like summon a rainbow and then light comes out.
Oh god!
It's basically like Pictomancers for the bottoms and Vipers for the tops, basically.
Cool.
So I'm gonna be a Picto. So yeah, it's really cool. I really like both jobs. The other big thing of it is obviously the graphics update as well.
Yeah.
Which is coming in the next patch. And I think the real test of the graphics update is going to be going back to like the original areas from A Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Being able to see the difference.
But I think they're adding them over time, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's like Dawntrail, and then they're starting with like 1.0, and then they're going to work through the expansions to upgrade the graphics.
Because I guess most people are either at the end or at the start.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
So they want it good for new people or good for people who are up to date. So I think that will be the real test. But you can tell from Dawntrail, like the style of it and the decisions behind it are clearly to show off the graphics. So the fact it's in a jungle is because they've got much more detailed and dense vegetation. So all the plant and even just the grass looks much more dense and sort of, full than usual. Or Pictomancer is really flashy with bright colors. Like it's clearly to show off the graphics. But it does look great. Like there is a significant difference, I think, when you look at it. You can tell
That's
that
good.
the graphics are updated.
Because I remember
It's
sitting
subtle,
in
but
the
it's better.
I remember sitting in the audience with Yoshi P, and he was showing us like how the cheeks are more defined and round, and I was like, I cannot see the difference in these two photos, but now the fact that when it all comes together, you say that you can tell a big difference. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is this, like I say, the style of Dawntrail. So it'll be interesting to see the other areas. The other major thing is when you zoom right in on characters. Before it looks really jaggedy and a bit blurry. Now it looks much smoother, much more detailed. Good. So like armors and character models and like the fur on like a Hrothgal and all of that stuff looks much sharper and much more detailed. So I think that really is the key to the update.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and that will be out. I think it's annoying because the preview or like the early access, I don't know why they have early access, but the early access for that is literally like the day that we go to TwitchCon, and then it's fully out literally the day we come back. So that week I'll be playing a lot of Dawntrail, I guess. I think there's something else out that week. Oh, it's the general election.
Yeah.
So
great.
I might
busy week.
See if I can book that week off, although I think I've got something that's popped up as well. Anyway, that's
sorry, just quickly
Dawntrail.
In chat, Extreme says the updates and graphics, do they require a super modern car to take advantage of? Absolutely not. And that is a big part of it, is that they want to update it from the original, which was, PS3 and old PCs. They're updating it, but in a way that still everybody can access on like current hardware. I did ask about, or in our interview, it was asked around sort of the longevity of it. And for instance, they still want people to be able to play on PS4. Mm-hmm. So if you've got a PC that is around sort of PS4 level, absolutely no problem at all. Like this graphics update is not suddenly going to make it look like Final Fantasy 16. Like it's not jumping to that. It still looks a little old compared to other games. It's just a more detailed version of the same style. And that's
one thing that they said. It was like they don't want it to have a big overhaul because people have grown attached to what their characters look like, so they want their characters to look like they did before.
Yep.
But yeah, cool. Well, that's Dawntrail. I'm looking forward to that coming out, and hopefully you'll get to the end of Endwalker at some point.
I am very close. Will you say that? I'm very close. I'm up and away somewhere. But I'm very close to the end. I've got some really slutty Bloodborne armor for my Reaper, which I'm very much enjoying. And we've got Close the Distance playing constantly, which I love. It's got some really cool set pieces at the end of Endwalker, and it's genuinely, the story's really grabbed me at this point, and I'm absolutely loving it. And that to me is what I'm most interested in with Dawntrail, because it's the start of a new arc. So I don't know what happens at the end of Endwalker yet. I'll get there. But Dawntrail is a brand new arc for the next 10 years. And like I say, they took all the story bits out, so I can't tell you what the story is. But there we go. If you want to read more about it, or if you want to see some screenshots of what it looks like, then you can check out my preview on Eurogamer.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the video as well. Awesome. Speaking of like games that are coming to an end, I started playing a little bit of Destiny 2 again after a while away from it. I tend to kind of get really sucked in at the expansions, and then when it comes to all the seasons and stuff, I don't keep up. But I'm going to try and keep up, although I said that last time and then I didn't. But we'll see whether I do or not. But this is called The Final Shape. I think the raid just went live. I think the raid has just been beaten. And it's pretty much the end of the saga of the light versus dark saga. So very similar to 14. I think it's light v dark in Destiny 2. But I'm only like a third of the way through the campaign, and I'm playing it on Legendary, so I'm being carried by Andinis and Westman, very kind of them to help carry me. Because if you finish the game in Legendary mode, it's really, really difficult, but you get some armor that puts you at a really high level. Like if you go and play the game, the standard one, and reach the soft cap, then you have to do quite a lot of extra stuff to kind of build up your gear score. Whereas if you finish the game on Legendary, you get some that's already puts you like quite a few weeks ahead of other people. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. Also, I do quite like the challenge in the game. So I'm going to keep going with that. At the moment, this story is really grabbing me. I think it's really interesting.
What is the story of Destiny?
Oh, I don't know. But it's a little bit like Kingdom Hearts. Like you enjoy the story, the kind of the micro story, but then the macro story, the overarching one, no idea what's going on. All I know is I've gone into the giant Traveler, and we went in. So the Traveler is this giant white orb, which you'll have seen before. It's literally like the logo of Destiny, the big white orb that hovers above the earth. We've gone inside there, and there was like a big triangle opening, so they were all calling it the Travelussy that we all entered.
Oh, God.
And inside, there's like worlds and places, and it's really beautiful and green and wild.
Who would have thought?
And yeah, it's really cool. And we've gone and met some old friends, including one old friend that we thought we'd lost forever.
Aw.
So there's been like a lot of reunions, and I think the last mission I did was kind of like the final reunion mission. And I'm guessing then the next part is then to go ahead and try and beat the try and stop the person from the final shape, which is kind of like the end of the world. So I mean, the game is really, really good fun. The
How
combat
does it compare to the last expansion?
I think the story is a bit more impactful. I feel like Lightfall had a lot of people going like, this doesn't make sense. Which I know a lot of Destiny doesn't make sense, but there's just like, this city just appeared and it didn't exist before, and now it's all like a weird different style, and people were not a massive fan of it, and I fell off it quite quickly. But this one, we will see where it goes at the end. I want to see where the central hub is, because obviously there's a hub where people can kind of just wander around. The last one was a bit weird and just really long, and it took you ages to get from one side to the other. I'm interested to see what this one's like, and also if this is the end of that. It's weird because it's at the end of that story arc. So literally from the beginning of Destiny 2 to now is like, this is the end of that story. So I'm wondering, but they said that they're going to keep updating it with like the weekly updates and the seasons. So I'm like, well, it's weird because there's an expansion, but obviously at the end of it, you probably kill a boss. But then if this is the last expansion in Destiny 2, which it probably will be, then they're going to keep bringing out seasons with more content. It's like, well, where's the end of the game? How do you finish the game? Are they going to add a free update right at the very, very end, like the final boss, that completes the whole story? Is that just then going to be added as a free update in a while? So I don't know. It's interesting how they're going to do it. I think they've screwed up a lot of things with Destiny 2, and I hope Destiny 3, whenever that comes out.
Well, I was going to say, surely there's a Destiny 3 on the way,
There
and
will
they
be.
want to continue into that.
Oh, there will be, and I don't think it'll even be called Destiny 3. I don't know. They'll
Destiny.
Will it continue into that, or will they just go, okay, there's so much we need to kind of fix? Will there be an alternate timeline? Will it be set so far in the future there's nothing really related to the story now? Or I don't know. I imagine there won't be, because they won't get rid of all that lore, but it's just very confusing, and they need to make it simple again and try and get people playing that are ones that... Because now, if you go and start playing the game, it's like, I have no idea what's going on. Even I don't know what's going on. I've played every single expansion.
That's the thing. Like, so I played Destiny 1 when it first came out on PS4, and I actually quite liked it. I'm not a massive shooter fan, but like the shooting in that game feels great.
That's my favorite thing.
It's really genuinely one of the best shooters I think out there.
Every weapon feels different.
Yeah,
Like, especially the exotics. Like, the exotics, like, it's as though they're... I mean, they are different weapons, but it's just as though... Like, how they managed to make every single weapon that they've got just something unique. Well, especially when it's like the exotic ones. I don't understand, but it's... Like, you get a feel of a gun, of a weapon, whatever it is, and you're just like, you know what? I'm used to this, and I'm going to keep it, and this is like my thing, and it can be completely different. Nobody else on your fire team or in your group might even use that gun, but you just have a real feeling for it, and you then keep it. It's really good like that.
I think it's the story complication that I'm like, I can't be bothered with, because I like games for story, and I just don't know where I would start with Destiny. So
No, I don't. I mean, we've moaned all the time about it. The fact that the original story in Destiny you can't even play now is just bonkers. The Red War, it was kind of a cool mission, kind of a cool campaign. I did it 3 times, because if you've got 3, it was quite at the very start of the game. Yes.
Question. So saying that, I have Destiny 1 on disc on PS4. If I put that in...
Destiny 1 or 2?
1.
Oh, that's different.
Can I still play that?
Yeah, I think that's open. Yeah.
Okay.
But Destiny 2, if you play it, you can't play the original campaign.
Right, okay.
But no, I played so when Destiny 2 first came out, it was impossible to... Well, like, you could do all the weekly activities in like one evening, which is now has the opposite problem. But yeah, if you want to go and do it, you could go and reach So, for example, let's say there were 5 ways of getting higher level gear than the soft cap. So everything you're playing, things like loot drops up to a certain level. But then if you want to get anything of a higher level, you have to do some specific activities. And they had maybe like 5 or 6 things that you could do quite quickly, and then that was it. So you just did that each week and then came back the following week. But another way that you could get around that is if you use, because you have 3 character slots and there are 3 different types of guardian, or 3 types of class. So you then have 1 of each, and you can just, one thing you can move are the guns. You can't move the armor, but you can move the guns between characters. So what you would do is you'd complete everything on 1 character, then move those guns that are a decent level to another character, do all of those activities again, and because of the average gear score that those guns will have increased you by, then you might have got even better guns. And yeah, it was a very you had to spend a lot of time trying to work out what was the best way of getting like the highest score in the time that you had for the weekly items or the weekly quests. And it just became a chore, especially because it was just repeating the same thing again and again and again. And now there's a lot less repetition, but there's a lot less repetition, but there's a lot more what the hell's going on. I don't understand this.
Yeah, can imagine that.
So I will keep playing it, see what happens at the end. It'll probably be confusing, and I'll just be like, ugh. But they're upgrading, like they're updating it all the time, which is nice. To make things simpler, and hopefully they'll keep doing that. Also, they've got rid of sunsetting, which was a stupid idea. So all the guns that you could have played, after a certain expansion, they'll be like, yeah, you can't increase the level of those guns. So you might have a gun that you love, and what you do is every time you get a weapon that's a higher level than that, you can like infuse it to match it to that level, so you can keep the same one. Whereas before, there were some old guns that people loved that they had, oh no, this is the cap. You can't increase it anymore, so they'd be completely useless. And it's like, oh, it's to try and encourage people to use the newer weapons. It's like, well, some people might really love their old weapons.
But then you just end up using the same weapon all the time.
No, because they introduce new ones that are quite interesting. Like I've got a weapon now that when I shoot them, if I shoot a few more, like if I shoot and kill somebody with it, they explode into like ice and it freezes other enemies around. And I'm like, that's a really cool one. I'm going to go and start using that one. So just make them more exciting and make people want to use the new ones rather than just like forcing you to.
Fair enough.
Well, there's the Destiny update. I'll give you another one next week. Hopefully I'll have finished the campaign by then.
Yeah, it's quite short, isn't it?
Yeah, like I played it. I don't know, actually. I played it 3 or 4. I think on Legendary it's a lot more because it takes a lot more and the enemies take more to kill. And yeah, you probably die a bit. But yeah, we will see. More Destiny.
Should we see what people...
Well, I've also been playing... you watched me. I played the demo for Thank Goodness You're Here.
Yes. Tell us about the demos you played.
Oh, yeah. I played the demo of that, and which is a very Yorkshire game set in... I mean, we've already done like a preview of this, but there's a demo now for Thank Goodness You're Here. It is a... I don't even know what you'd even call it. Like a platformy, puzzly, like a very, very light puzzle game.
So
where you only punch or jump. That's the only thing that you can do. But you do that into people and get their dialogue. And it's a very like cartoon, hand-drawn style game. But it's like in a comic, like an old school kind of comic art style. But it's set in a fictionalized version of Barnsley.
So watching you, I described it as Untitled Goose Game meets Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I don't play that one.
But set in Yorkshire.
You could do that if you want to call it that.
I guess, like Untitled Goose Game, you sort of just run around and it's sort of puzzly type stuff that you do. And Conker's Bad Fur Day, in that it's just quite crude humour.
Yeah, it is crude, and I wonder if a few of the jokes will... I mean, the jokes in the demo, none of them, I don't think, were that risque, so I don't know if they're going to include...
it's not that crude.
No, I wonder if they will include any of the ones I played in the preview that I had that I was like, oh, that might upset some people, but I don't know. Maybe they'll have adjusted things. I cannot wait to play it when it comes out, but like at the end...
Very silly.
It's very, very silly, and when the game finished, I was like, the demo finished, I was genuinely like, no, I want to play more.
Yeah.
So...
I really enjoyed... What was the pub called?
Oh,
the Thumb It Inn.
The Thumb It Inn. There's so many like little things that you see. It's like the back of like the registration plate on one of the vans was "Ah, ma'am" or something like that.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, right, ma'am. There's lots of funny, weird little things that you could just walk around. People were like, "Oh, have you tried going there?" And I'm like, "No, I don't need to be directed. I'm just wandering around and just enjoying the weird little bits of humor that you have in it."
That there's so much detail, like because the
Yeah.
cartoon graphics are really well done.
Milk
but there
Snatcher as well.
there are so many details in like the environment and the character designs that you do want to just like wander around and see what you can find, which I really liked.
And it's a very much like a love letter to Barnsley, but also taking the piss.
Yeah.
Because they're from it. The people that made it, they're from Barnsley. So it's like, it is very much, but that's kind of, I feel like a British thing. It's like, I'm from here, therefore I'm going to make a game where it just takes the piss out of us.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
brilliant.
surreal British humor.
Very surreal. That is true.
And then you played another demo today.
Yes, another, which I'm even more excited about. Like, and these games come out 9 days apart. So that is out on the 1st of August, which is...
Taylor Swift Day.
What?
What?
1st of August.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 9th of August. 1st of August is Yorkshire Day.
Yorkshire. So Yorkshire
Why is it
Day.
Yorkshire Day? What did Yorkshire do on the 1st of August?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me. Just put me on
You're
the
the
spot.
Yorkshireman.
It's 1st of August, Yorkshire Day.
You grew up there. You should
I don't know. We probably did something. Probably
gonna look it
invented
up
the Yorkshire
now.
pudding. But yeah, Yorkshire Day is 1st of August, so they're releasing it on then, which I thought was perfect. And there's lots of kind of white rose things everywhere. The earnest confusion of Taylor Swift Day says on me. Taylor Swift Day? It's not, you know why?
Well, no, because 9th of
Right.
August is when the other game comes out, and that's when we're seeing Taylor Swift, which is why I got confused.
The day before, I think. But yeah, no, the other game I've been playing was called, I need to remember the name of it. Taylor Swift is not from Yorkshire. The game was called The Crush House. So the Crush House, Heather says the best thing to come out from Yorkshire is the pudding and me and terriers. What?
So on the 1st of August, the Slavery Abolition Act 1833 was passed during the British Empire in 1834. William Wilberforce, who was a Yorkshire MP, had campaigned for the emancipation.
So it's a really good reason to be on there. Like,
Exactly.
Look at that.
I'm glad I looked that up.
I'm glad you did as well. See, Yorkshire people are decent people. They're all right. So there you go. But yeah, I played The Crush House, which is, I don't know if you've seen it before. If you haven't seen it, it is a reality TV filming game where you play a producer of a reality TV show that is set inside a house a la Love Island. I don't know. I've not seen it.
Big Brother.
/Big Brother. And you're there filming and you've got to kind of encourage them and you've got to, well, you're like the cameraman pretty much as well as the producer, but you've got to film these people that are in this house. You pick them and then you film them based on like the audiences that are watching. So at the beginning it goes, okay, this is the house. You have a little wander, go and visit the different places. So you're kind of familiar with the layout of the house. It's quite simple. It's nice. And then you get to choose the contestants. In the demo, you only pick 4, which is going to be fun when it's chaotic with 12. And
cozy.
It's not cozy. That's the good thing. So I picked the 4, which were the only 4 available, and they came in. And then like day 1, it's like there are 2 types of people watching, you need to watch like people who love film students or film obsessives. So when it's the film obsessives, as you're going around filming these people having their interactions and whatnot, if you've got the target lock on, then you get extra points from the film buffs because you're doing special kind of camera shots following people. And yeah, so you
have to be artsy.
You have to be artsy. You get special audiences each day that you have to satiate their needs. We've got the Ed one, the voyeurs. And so that's like where you have to watch from quite far away or in the bushes or through windows and you're filming and then the voyeur thing pops up. There's one that was for butts.
So ridiculous.
Butt lovers. So the butt lovers, you literally just got to, when people are having a conversation, you're not filming them, you're filming their butts.
I mean, one for you.
Yep. I do love a good butt. And like you get extra points if they're in a swimsuit or in a thong.
Great.
So yeah, it was just stupid, but it was really good fun. And the conversations they have are just, they're real. And I can't remember the names of the characters, unfortunately, but it's something like,
was it Emile was the French one?
oh, Emile, the real French
Charlie?
Lothario. I don't remember, but she's like, what are you doing? I'm just sitting here hating Charlie. He's like, yeah, me too. I'm just gonna just sit here
Priscilla?
yeah, I'm gonna sit here and think that Charlie's a piece of shit. Yeah, me too. And it's just really, like, I don't know, the dialogue just felt really real, but kind of funny. Yeah, Emil, Charlie, Priscilla. That was it. And there was
then
another
man.
the blonde one.
Yeah. I love that the creator of this game has described it as a first-person shooter,
Yes.
which is great.
And
pretty much sums it up.
And one of the writers came into the chat when I was streaming it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So, who is a Twitch partner, and like, cool. I love that. And I don't know, it was just bizarre. So you do 7 days, and like what I did is in the evenings when I was going and wandering. So you film, and then if you've hit all the targets, then that's great, and then the filming ends. And because if you don't hit those demographics, if you don't fill up the you need to satiate the needs of these 2 demographics or these 3 demographics. And every day I was playing, you had to do like 4 and 5, and it went up. If you didn't, please them, then the show got cancelled and everyone went home, and that was it. It's like, oop, gone. But in the evenings, if you could wander around and you could talk to them, but the first rule is that you do not talk to them.
Don't talk to the talent.
Do not talk to the talent.
No.
So I wandered around and spoke to a few of the talent, because they give you little missions, and it's like, for example, Emil was like, there's a problem because the people do not like seeing me with other people, and I would like it if you, next time I am romancing somebody, that you do not show their face, you only show my face, so that there is not that, the disconnect because I'm with somebody else and they can imagine they are with me. So I did that, and I achieved it, and I did.
What a lovely accent.
Thank you very much. So I did that. I think I did 2 people's. I completed 2 people's missions out of the 4, but one of them I'd failed when I did it. So it is a weird thing. I think in the end I only did 1, which was Emil's. And then on like the final day, so I did my 6 days, and then on the 7th day, which I think is the finale, it's like you've got to satiate all 10 people's audience needs. And I was like, bloody hell, that's going to be a lot. But then a mysterious voice called me.
Oh.
And this is like a game that's just really bright and colourful. It's like you're taking videos of people's asses. There's people snogging and fighting, and there's all sorts going on. And then it's like
there's
you
a
get
lot of slap fighting.
Yeah, there's a lot of literally Sims. I was thinking Sims fight. Yeah. And then I got a mysterious call, and then it's like, come down to the -3 basement. I'm like, what? And this is like at night. It's like, yeah, we know you've been talking to the talent. Come down to the -3 basement. But it wasn't like the manager. It was mysterious voice. And there was like a image of a kind of cat type weird stuff. And then I went to the lift, pressed -3, and then it said, demo over.
Shame.
And I saw a trailer of it, and it looks like it goes places. And I love a game that does something really weird, but the actual game itself is really interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
For example, like one thing that, I don't know, there's things like Dave the Diver, for example. Like that's really cool, but it also has, and like it's a cool fishing game, you're going and doing all of this stuff, but then there's this weird side bit, and there's like, oh, you can go to these, I don't know, there's like a dark side and quite an interesting side to it that's different to what you're actually playing. And I feel like that's the same for this, but the game itself, I would have been very, very happy if it had just been a goofy reality TV producer simulator type game with, kind of bizarre characters and stupidity like that. But the fact that there's another level or a -3 level where things could potentially go really weird, I am 100% down for that.
Well, are you pleasing the housemates or the viewers? Whose side are you on? I guess.
Maybe, yeah, but I'm like, what is this mysterious voice? Is it just a manager? Is it like the station executive, or is it something paranormal or what? I'm not sure.
I love that as well, because I think there is, not to get too deep about it, but I think there is a real dark side to reality TV in terms of like duty of care and the sort of rise to fame and looking after people.
And that's what you're doing. Those side missions are you're looking after them.
And that's the thing, is that, well, therefore maybe it's like stop talking to them, because don't look after them. We want to take advantage of these people for our show.
Maybe it's like the Maze Runner. They get killed off when they leave.
Yeah. So I love that there is that dark side to it. It's actually it's like making a comment about reality TV. It's not just simulating it.
I do wonder how as the game. Well, it's weird because it was like the 7th day was the finale, and then I think the winner goes down a special shoot or something like this. But I wonder if there's any way, or if there's a season, a type of season, or a type of it where someone gets like eliminated each day. You know, like 12 go in, and then one person goes each day. I wonder if that's also a mechanic in it at some point. But I am very excited about that game. Really, really excited.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it comes out the day before we go to Austria. And I kind of want to stream that.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So that's the Crush House.
The Crush House, yeah.
Out 9th of August.
Yeah. So before we go and talk about Summer Game Fest, let's go and also the Wholesome Direct. Let's go and see what other people have been playing.
Indeed. Oh no.
Have you lost it?
Yeah. Discord just updated for a second. Hang on.
Also, I'm getting loads of emails from people, from game publishers after the Wholesome Direct.
Of course.
It's definitely, they know that the type of games that I like, which I appreciate very much so. Right.
Sorry, I went too far.
Oh dear, never. Well, you can never go too far, Ed.
You can. Here we go. Right, Clasco says, I played Rising Tide at the weekend, and Leviathan drowned me many a time. Now I'm nearly ready to finish the game, which is Final Fantasy 16, and I believe Clasco has finished it. This was a few days ago, but now in chat, I think they finished it. So congrats. Leviathan's an arsehole. Linny Lavi says, I tried Wuthering Waves, but I don't think it's quite grabbing my attention as much as I wished it would. So now with Dawntrail on the horizon, I'm getting back into 14 to prepare. We haven't tried Wuthering Waves yet.
No, it's a gacha game.
Yeah.
I don't really vibe with gacha games.
Fair. Dan Law says, just spent the day working my way through Chants of Sennar. Truly enjoyed my time with it. Really like the art style and music throughout. The controls are simple, but the gameplay loop is a great workout for the mind. Found it to be an amazing exploration of language, culture, and segregation. If you miss any glyphs, though, it sure is a pain to backtrack and try and find them. Really only a problem if you're a completionist. I need to finish that.
You do. And yeah, I am a completionist. I must finish. I must get to the end of that. Especially when it's a puzzle game where it has like the proper ending. Do it, you'll hate it, you'll get really angry, you'll be like, the fuck am I supposed to know this?
Yeah, probably.
But which you did in like the first level. But I don't know, I feel like I'm really glad I finished that game, and there were some bits where I had no idea. I think there were maybe one or two bits I looked on online just to see like how, or like just to confirm something. But like you do feel quite accomplished when you do get it. There are quite a lot of elated feelings when you go, oh my god, of course that symbol just makes it plural. It's not an actual word and stuff like that.
Is it the Dark Souls of puzzle games?
No, it's a puzzle. It's just a difficult puzzle game.
That's true.
It's got nothing to do with Dark Souls.
Mr. Wibble says, I've played the Southfield Beta, which is a gathering management game like Stardew Valley and Palia, but with a graphic style that's more Fall Guys. Also, they have Wibble Fruit, so I'm sold. It was still a beta, so not everything was equally smooth or seamless, but it's fun to muck about, harvest and gather things. Unsure how well it'll retain me, but it has great queer representation in the development team. I've not heard of Southfield.
No.
Interesting.
Elliot says, I don't vibe with gacha games, says the man who talked about Marvel Snap every episode of this podcast. Marvel Snap is not a gacha. I mean, maybe technically there are gacha mechanics in it, but I don't understand. Is it a gacha game?
I wouldn't say so.
To me, gacha is like the Wuthering Waves, Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, that kind of thing.
Yeah, very much.
That's a card game.
Wibble also continued Venture to the Vile. Made some nice progress, and it's feeling a bit more like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown now. Nice dashes, double jumps, things to evade, and some challenging fights. Definitely will finish this game. There's some accessibility in that you can double your health pool. Doesn't make the mechanics easier, but it has made some fights doable simply by allowing you to make more mistakes.
What's this?
Venture to the Vile. Again,
Lots of games not heard.
That one,
yeah,
which is cool. Pigeon Mitch, I continue playing Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Yes.
It's wild and makes me laugh from all the crazy wild shit. Men in Diapers, amazing.
Yep. There's a summon.
And Chaddy says, Elden Ring, level 100, that is all. I'm so glad that Chaddy's got into a Souls game at last.
Yeah, and gone past me now. Enjoy. Cool.
So there we go.
So
that's what people have been playing.
Shall we talk about Summer Game Fest, which was yesterday?
Let's. Well, do you want to do the Wholesome Direct first?
Could do.
What did you think of it? Was it cozy and chaotic?
It was, and I really, really liked it. I actually yeah, when it came to Wholesome Direct, like the Wholesome Games Direct or whatever it was called, I was not even going to watch it. I thought, okay, well, I mean, it'll be on. There'll be just loads of games that are probably quite just nothing that really catches my eye. But then I think you were taking a while, so I was like, okay, well, I may as well watch it rather than record the podcast.
Wow.
And I ended up loving it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Lately, I've just felt a bit blah with video games. Like, there hasn't been anything brand new that has just really grabbed me. And I was like, oh, am I just getting a bit off games? And when it comes to things like Hellblade came out, and the first one came out, and I was like, oh, this is a cool puzzle. I really liked it. But I just had no interest in the sequel. And it sounds like it was a bit meh anyway. And there's just like so many games. I'm not really looking forward to any. And then we watched the Summer Game Fest, and I was like, okay, there's some games here I'll probably want to play. But there was nothing that I was really desperate to play. And then Wholesome Games Direct came out, or the Wholesome Direct came out, and I'm like, oh, there's just loads of games here I really want to play immediately. And maybe it's just the mood I was in, but yeah, it kind of reinvigorated what I just want from a game for the moment. And I don't know if that's just because I'm a bit, not stressed, but I've got lots on with work, with like planning TwitchCon attendance and also streaming Beat It this year and various other things. And maybe I just need something a bit cozier rather than something that's just pure depression like most of the games that were in the Summer Game Fest. But
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to those in a minute, but I think a lot of those like AAA hardcore games tend to be lots of dark space horror shooty zombie things, and you always get a ton of that stuff. And then that's why the Wholesome Direct is great, because it is bright and colorful. And I mean, we joke that it's full of cats and witches and farming games, but it's nice that there is variety. For me, I think some of this is a little too on the twee side.
yeah,
But there's a lot of really creative games in there and like interesting mechanics,
and so,
which are just a lot more interesting than chasing high fidelity graphics.
just a lot of people, like I was talking to, I think it was actually Ivan, a friend who visited last week, and he was like, I just doesn't play games because he just gets stressed out. And I'm like, yeah, these are the games that don't. But one thing I'd noticed when it comes to like Summer Game Fest, those games are there to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's all about money, money, money. How can we monetize it? How can we sell a digital deluxe version? All the money, like the Honkai Star Rail was on there. And yeah, I mean, Helios was like, oh yeah, Genshin, they're all action adventure. I think it's the action adventure RPG with gacha mechanics when there's just a million different currencies and I don't understand what they're for. And you have to, and it's all about pulls and all this various stuff. And it's like various loot boxes. I'm sorry, but I don't think they're really loot boxes in Marvel Snap in the same way that kind of there are in Wuthering Waves and Honkai and Genshin, all that. But you get from them, it's there to make as much money as possible. And some of those games, like the one that had that massive, there was the Clash of Clans developer, or are they publisher or developer? I don't know. The Clash of Clans developers, their latest game had this advert that went on for like 3 minutes and featured all these celebrities. Ridiculous. And it was just this random mobile game. And I'm like, that makes so much money. And I just wondered, because things like Summer Game Fest, I wonder if Jeff turns down some of these, because I bet the games that make the most money are the ones that you look at and go, I don't know. They dilute gaming a bit for me, and it just becomes something that's all about making money and getting them higher numbers as possible. And I don't know. I'm not going to talk about like what's a proper game, but if a game's, I mean, obviously you want to make money and it's all capitalism and everything like that. But when the pure purpose of the game is to just try and make shareholders incredibly rich, and that comes across, and there's no actual like soul in the game, then it just pisses me off. Whereas the Wholesome Direct, very few of those games are ones with like battle pass. I don't think I saw any with a battle pass or with various extra kind of monetization options on them. They're just like games created by people who seem to love games and want to put what they love into a game and please people. Like their end goal, and maybe it's naive of me, but it seems like their end goal is to please people by giving them a game that they're going to enjoy.
I think that's the thing. Like the Summer Game Fest, it's big companies, and yeah, sometimes they're making these, incredible looking action adventure games or whatever, but they are ultimately big companies with all these shareholders. They need to make as much money as possible, etc., etc. Whereas the Wholesome Direct is indie developers where there's maybe one person or 4 or 5 people, and it's a passion project because it's something that they're passionate about and they want to just make a nice game. And yeah, they need to, make money to survive. But that's when you get someone like Inner Sloth, who made Among Us, who at least at Summer Game Fest had this whole advert, which is basically, look, our game did really well. So rather than take that money, we're going to invest that in a load of other games, call it Outer Sloth, and basically have like a publishing department and invest in all these other little passion projects.
But
which
they
is
didn't,
a really lovely thing to do.
And they won't have paid for that slot themselves. Like Jeff will have seen this project going on and been like, oh, I want this on the stage because at the moment I bet
because
it
looks good.
Yeah, and I guess, and yeah, he's taken on a lot of, we'll talk about it, but I think he's taken on a lot of the criticism that he's had before with Summer Game Fest. But I do wonder how many he had to turn down because it's like, no, this is just a random mobile gacha shit. But because it makes £1 billion every minute, then yeah, they've got the money to say, hey, we want a 3-minute advert at the Game Awards. So I just hope that, and that's kind of like the good thing about the fact that it is kind of Jeff as the face of it, because he's got then a reputation to keep up. Whereas if it's just a random Summer Game Fest by, some kind of media conglomerate that's just all, what have they called? For example, the one that used to own Eurogamer, what's it called? Like the other ones that owned Giant Bomb, the big venture capital thing. If it's just owned by something like that, then they don't really care. It's like, hey, we can get loads of money. If we just turn this into a random kind of Nexon or whatever publisher, publisher developer, you can just get those kind of games, get those kind of multi-million-pound worth every freaking week games, and just have those, and they can rake in all the money. But it's not what games, like people in games, actually want.
Fair.
So I just had to rant about that.
There we go. So on the positive side then, what are you looking forward to from the Wholesome game showcase?
Well,
was there anything that in particular that took your fancy?
Genuinely, like, there was one about books, and it was about a traveling bookshop, and I saw that and I thought, that is my kind of just chilled game. It was called Tiny Bookshop, and it was a traveling bookshop. It looked like a kind of a shed on wheels, and you could decorate it, and you park up somewhere, and then people come along and you have a little chat with them. You give them a book that they're interested in. I don't know exactly what it's all about, but you can like decorate the inside and the outside. And it just seemed like and like you can choose what type of books are on there, are available for people to buy or rent. I'm not sure. And you go from place to place and just rock up. And that just seemed like my kind of really chilled game. And I was thinking like that kind of game would be awesome while you're working. Imagine having something like that where you could just have it on a separate screen. And yeah, you rock up at the beginning of the day and it was like in real time. And every now and again, someone will come along. So yeah, they're writing, you're doing something work and the person has popped up and you can have a little chat and they might sit down and just read for a bit and wander off. I know this is not that game, but something
that sounds
just
very distracting.
Well, not if it's like really just relaxing and there's a music and there's nobody comes along for like half an hour or so. I don't know. That just seemed really pretty and yeah, and cute. And I wonder if you you see the same people coming back each time and you build relationships. I'm not sure, but that one definitely caught my eye, as well as Pine, A Story of Loss, which seems like a game that was definitely going to make me cry, but it's about a woodchucker. How much wood?
Well, that's the question.
But he loses his wife, and it's about a story about him getting over his grief, but it looked beautiful. It was kind of pencil drawings, or at least, I don't know. The art style is like very cartoon in the same way as like the BFG cartoon was, or the Iron Giant, kind of subdued cartoons. I really liked the look of that, and I don't know if it's one I'd want to stream. Yeah. What about you? What?
Interesting. Like, honestly, I don't think there was anything in particular in this that caught my eye. Like, they do sort of blur together a little bit with all the cats and farming and things. But I think what is great is that firstly, the Wholesome Games website, as we have open now, has a list of all of them that you can go through. And also most of these have demos. So
yeah,
it's great that with all these indie games, it's not just, here's some indie games, but also you can go play them, go try out a demo for 20 minutes. I mean, the two that you played earlier, like, were not in Wholesome games, but are absolutely games that I want to give a go to. So yeah, I think there's tons of stuff to like try out right now.
Yeah, and they just seem like chilled games. Like you play it and there's no pressure, but you can like just enjoy the dialogue. That's every bit has been like written by somebody who cares about the final product and cares about the game. And it's not just about. And I'm not obviously people who work on the big games obviously care about their work and their games as well. But I don't know, like you said before, I think the word is like passion project. It really is, and they've got this vision, but the vision is probably with such a small group of people, maybe even just one in some cases, that they can really, they put the heart into the game.
Yeah.
And they're not being told how to. But there were a few others, like Minami Lane, that's out on PC, and I really want to actually play that. I got a code, so I feel like I need to make a video of it, but I really want to play it as well. And it's just like 2 or 3 hours where you go and you just build a small town, and you put some shops on there.
That does look very cute.
Yeah, and sometimes like a chilled game is what you need. I know you were really interested in the Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh, that was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, that is my thing. Absolutely. So I played that at Gamescom last year. There's a demo out now. It's out next month, I think, or very soon. Hinterberg is in Austria.
30 minutes from Money.
Yeah. And this game is basically Austrian Zelda. So you go into the mountains in the Alps and you go into dungeons. You have these powers.
Do you yodel?
Probably. You have different powers which are very like Zelda-y, like summoning blocks and using bombs and things like that. And it's all these little dungeons, which are a bit like what they call in Breath of the Wild, the shrines.
Yeah, I definitely got
like
Zelda
that,
vibes.
but like in the Alps. But then there's a central town, I think Hinterberg. There you go, out July 18th. Where there's like a sort of social aspect, and you go and have relationships with people and go out for coffee and whatever as you chill between exploring these dungeons. It's got this really lovely like graphic comic style. I desperately want to play that game.
I'm glad that, because I know I don't think the trailer that they showed in the Wholesome Direct was my kind of thing. I don't know if I looked away for a bit, but it just seemed to be only inside the dungeons, and I was like,
well,
where's
it was a puzzle trailer, so it was showing off these are what the puzzles are like in the dungeons. But some of the dungeons, like Zelda, some of them are very puzzle based, some of them are more combat based with bosses. And then, like I say, there's the sort of social aspect as well.
I think I'm becoming a cozy gamer. Well, not a cozy gamer. I think that's just...
Are you cozy and chaotic?
No, well, I am. Yeah, I think I am.
Oh, no.
Do you think I'm chaotic?
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's just... Yeah. I mean, that is very, very true. But there were lots of really good games. There were lots of really good games that I'd play the demo and be like, yeah, I could definitely play that for a while. And... yeah, Moonstone Island, that's coming to Switch. It's a really good game. Go and play that. I played that for a fair bit and really enjoyed it. But I also just loved, like, when you watch, and I just feel like I'm shitting on the summer game and just like big games now, but there was just so many different ideas in there. And we joke that it's all farming games and all that stuff, but I don't think there were any. Like, were there any game? Well, there were maybe like 1 or 2 games that had farming mechanics. But there were no...
there wasn't like a strict...
It wasn't like... there weren't
well,
Stardew clones.
Actually. No, I think there might have been.
Well, it wasn't the majority of them, which I think we've seen in the past. But there was just some really bizarre ones, like that Screenbound. That looked really cool, where you're playing 2D and 3D at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen a trailer for that before. So your character is holding like a Game Boy in front of them, which is 2D, but then they're in a 3D environment and walking around. So you're sort of basically exploring 3D whilst also playing a 2D game at the same time.
Mm-hmm. But there's just, I don't know, there just seems to be quite a lot of really unique types of games that you wouldn't ever see in
Wax Heads.
In other showcases.
I've heard good things about that as well. I think you are basically running a record shop with lots of like indie music and stuff.
Yeah, and it had a bit of sass to it, like
that looks cool.
The language in that. And there was Rooster with a giant cock.
We love a giant cock.
But that was like very much based around Chinese mythology or Chinese
like Chinese New
folklore
Year.
And stuff. Yeah. And there was Pup Champs, which was like a weird type of football dog moving kind of like puzzle game.
I like dogs, maybe not football.
Do you like pups?
Sure.
And there was the one about pigeons that poo on people, and that was out. That's actually out on itch.io, and you can get
Great.
it and play it, and you pick your price. And also the game, Playdate, that had a thing that I didn't realize they were $199.
Yeah, it's quite expensive for a little gadget. I think it's very well made and it looks very cute, but it's pricey.
Yeah. So yeah, if go and check it out, go to wholesomegames.com. That is wholesomegames.com. Scroll down and you
We're
can
not sponsored.
see. No, happily if they want to.
Yeah.
But go and check out those games because they're just like nearly every single one. Like Albatross, actually, that looked quite good. That was about like a climbing, a backpacking adventure, and it's just kind of traveling. And sometimes traveling is the best part of a game. Death Stranding.
Oh, don't you start.
Also, have you heard about building relationships that was shown on there? A dating.
I mean, I've
building.
heard about building relationships, but maybe not this game.
Wow. Should we build? Do we need to build ours?
Are we bonding?
Should we
Are
bond?
we
Do we need to
building?
play games?
No.
It's a building relationships. It is a small. It's an icebreaker game. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's roll, jump, and wave dash as a house. You're literally playing as a house on a date in an adventure game. And you meet eccentric structures, romance-eligible bachelor pads, not bachelors, bachelor pads, and uncover the meaning of life. Or you could just go fishing instead, although we replace the fish with cars to make more sense.
What?
There's a demo for it. And yeah, Flinksy came in before and was talking about it, and I looked at it, I was like, this looks batshit. And then it came up in the wholesome, and Flinksy was like, I don't think that is wholesome, but I think it's casual. But yeah, it just seems so bizarre.
That is wild.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
So that was today.
If your kink is houses, like that person that married a funfair ride, I'm sure she'd be into that.
Yeah. But yesterday evening was Summer Game Fest, the sort of Jeff-fronted
The
showcase.
adult game, the adult one.
The proper one.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not, but I'm... Oh, God. There was an advert with a spider on it.
Oh, really? On
Yeah.
your website as well?
Thanks, Eurogamer.
Wow. Can you not even look at a spider?
No.
Well, I won't do it. Damn it, I gotta.
No,
cancel
don't do that.
this.
Anyway, I will, I've got a list of all the games. I won't go through
Who
them
put
all.
an advert with a spider on it?
Yeah, like a spider crawling on someone's head. I was like, I don't see that right now. I'd say overall with the showcase yesterday, it wasn't great. And a lot of people, I think the reaction from it has been like, that was not a good Summer Game Fest showcase. I think the thing is that people go into it with really high expectations and they expect a lot of brand new announcements. And I think when it's there again.
Oh, it's not a spider. It's the thing on your head, isn't it? It's
No. Before that, it's cycling round.
Just get rid of the ad.
Well, it keeps coming up.
Well, go and pay for it. I thought you'd pay for it.
No.
Pay for ads to get rid of.
Anyway, I think there were actually a lot of games in this that I'm like, I really want to play that. So there's lots of good stuff. It's just there wasn't like, here's a brand new game that we weren't expecting. Or like,
I feel like that we had more surprises back in the days before like everyone was like leaking things on social media.
I mean, half of the thing leaked anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I do miss the time when there were genuine surprises. Like now, big surprises like this. Potentially at the Xbox, there's this handheld thing coming out, and I'm like, where did that come from? I mean, that would have blown my mind if that had been shown without.
I don't know if that's even real, but
yeah. But if it is shown, I'll be like, oh, cool, I heard about that one. And it's like something, I don't know. I miss the big surprises, but that's because I'm kind of plugged in on social media and on Reddit and stuff. But
yeah,
it is a little bit sad that happens.
One new announcement, although it did leak beforehand, was Lego Horizon Adventures, which is literally just like a Lego game, but in the world of Horizon, which is cute, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about Horizon games, but what I did like about it was the attitude, because the game was actually cheerful and bright and funny, and is the absolute opposite of Horizon when I've played that.
They showed a little bit of Star Wars Outlaws, but there'll be more of that on Monday for Ubisoft. I'm excited for more of that. Never, which is the new game from the creator of Gris.
Never.
I think looks really like absolutely stunning art style. So I really want to play that. Another one that leaked is Civilization 7. Are you going to play that? That seems like your sort of thing.
I told you I've played Civ 5. and I deleted it immediately after. Well, I played it for.
Oh.
Well, no, I downloaded it. I got it for like really cheap. This is a long time ago. I remember I was in my living room in Zaragoza, and I downloaded it or bought it at like 9 a.m. and then started playing it, and then it was like midnight, and I was like, oh, and I'd finished the game, and I'm like, oh, that's really dangerous, and I stopped it and was like, cool, I finished a game of it. I'm going to delete it because that is dangerous.
Oh.
So I think I would love to play this again, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I think I have less of an addiction when it comes to things like that these days.
Interesting.
I can put things down.
So Civ 7, one for you.
I was going to say as well, if anybody has any questions, we don't have any questions yet, but go into the Discord in the Swapping Joysticks channel. Tell us what you think about Summer Games Fest. Is there anything you're looking forward to? But also, if you have any questions for us to discuss at the end, feel free to ask.
They had a bit of Black Myth Wukong, which I'm very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
That is out on the 20th of August.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
just
that.
after my birthday, just saying.
You'll get it for free anyway, I'm sure.
I don't know. Which, if you don't know, it's like a Souls-like from a Chinese developer called Game Science, which is based on Journey to the West. It looks really cool. They showed a new trailer, and just to say that you can pre-order it now. However, interestingly, it's not coming out day one on Xbox.
And haven't they been posting loads of trailers of that game?
They've been showing loads of stuff, and it's coming out on Xbox, PC, and PS5, but it won't be on Xbox on day one because they need more time to optimize it, which I think they haven't said this specifically, but ultimately it's probably because of the Series S. So Microsoft have a thing where games on the Series X also have to come out on the Series S, but because the S is less powerful, like people struggle to make things work on that. So that's clearly, like, they had the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3, and clearly Game Science are having the same problem. So interesting. But that I'm really excited about.
I wonder if they will ever drop that.
I think they might have to at some point. Metaphor Refantatio, again, there was nothing new, but they showed a little bit more of it. I'm really excited for that game. That's out later this year.
It's like Black Myth Wukong. I will play a bit of that. I don't know if I'll end up being... I don't know. If it's incredible, then yeah, sure. But I don't know if it's something that I would play more than for like 10 hours. The Metaphor is also... I looked like I would enjoy that. Will I adore it? I don't know. I'm going to play it and see. But so there's nothing where I look at... There were no games I looked at and thought, I'm going to just like devote my life to playing it because I'm obsessed with it. The only one I would...
see both of those, I'm like, yep, they're for me.
But like, the only game I saw last night, I think, that was maybe one that I could see myself playing until the end and playing a lot of was the Monster Hunter game.
Yes. Monster Hunter was towards the end. I'm desperate to play more of that. Like, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it will
love
be.
a bit of Monster Hunter.
I do. It gets frustrating at times, but I don't know. They're going back to world style where it's like massive open world, and I quite like the Rise smaller mode. So I'm wondering how they.
But they want to do something to like show off PS5 because that obviously Rise was Switch first, and they want to show that off. Batman Arkham Shadow is a new
VR game.
A new Arkham game, but it's VR.
Did you hear about the audible groans in the audience?
Yeah,
apparently when it announced that it was a Meta Quest 3 exclusive, people in the audience were like, "Fuck."
Yeah. See, that's the thing. If this was coming on PlayStation VR as well, and we had more of a chance to play it, I'd be excited about it. I think it could generally be quite good though.
I'll never know.
Yeah.
I feel like MetaQuest VR 3 or MetaQuest 3 is going to be like the standard one, like the one that they want to. That if you're going to get some VR, you get that one.
So I'm skipping past the load of stuff because there was a load of crap that I'm not interested in.
Well, maybe I'm interested.
No, I don't think you will be.
Oh.
Slitterhead.
Well, barely know her.
Hey. I'm excited for that. It's
What is it?
It's from the creator of Silent Hill, but it's a sort of actiony, horror-y game.
Oh, I like the
where
look
you,
of
like,
that actually.
Possess people. You play as like a little maggot, and you possess people, including a dog, and then you battle them. It looks really weird. But
Again,
weird in a cool way.
lukewarm.
Killer Bean.
Oh, that one with the dickhead.
Like, that's not a bean.
You've not seen many beans, have you? I mean, obviously.
No.
You don't like eating beans, and also...
No, I'm just not interested in beans, full stop, to be honest. That looked fucking weird.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm happy that things like that are shown here, but also I just have no interest in that. What else was here? Like,
what about Human Beings?
Inotria, the last song, some sort of like grimdark Souls game.
Mm.
Might give that a go. Outer Sloth we talked about. Oh, Sonic Shadow Generations.
No.
I'm very excited for. You might be hearing more from me on that soon.
Just like
Alan Wake 2 DLC. I don't really care too much.
I don't know. I saw that and I'm like, oh, do I need to give Alan Wake another go? Because it just seems like a game that I would like. Because like I played majority of Alan Wake remastered and I was like, oh, these controls are shit. And then
It's nothing like that.
I also finished Control and was like, it was all right. I don't know. It just feels like something I would like and I should like, but in the end, I just get
Don't
frustrated.
play it because you should, because then you'll be like
it's
me.
rich from you. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Maybe there are plenty of other games that I should play before.
Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is a new Capcom game. I really want to play that.
Well.
It's sort of tower defense meets action game in Japanese folklore. It looks really beautiful. So I really want to play that. There was some party animal stuff.
Yeah.
There's an update in that.
Oh yeah, there was what did they add? They added something that I can't remember.
I don't remember either. There's more stuff coming to Skate. More stuff coming to Palworld. Valorant is coming to consoles.
Yeah, Skate one was quite interesting because I had no idea what it was.
Yeah. And then it ended on Phantom Blade Zero, which again is a Soulsy, actiony game set in Japan.
Really fast though.
Which again is kind of my thing, but also like we've seen so many games like that. So like scrolling back, it's like there's stuff I want to play like Metaphor, Sonic, Monster Hunter, Black Myth Wukong, but I knew about all of those things. I already know the release date. So seeing it yesterday, it wasn't exciting. It was just stuff I knew about already. So I didn't feel like, wow, that was an exciting series of announcements. It's just, oh yeah, that's confirmed that there's stuff I want to play.
Yeah, same as well. Like all the game, there are lots of games that I want to play, but out of those games, I don't think any of them I'll finish. They're the type of games I'll play for a bit and then go, yeah, that's good. There's no Death Stranding 2, you know, that I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait for this to come out. Or even something like a Jak and Daxter remake or something, or a Astrobot, or there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I would really want to play that and I want to play it from start to finish, or a Final Fantasy VII remake, Rebirth Part 3 or whatever. There's nothing that, like, none of that really excited me, but that's just me. Maybe I'm unlucky this year.
I think part of that as well is that Summer Game Fest from Jeff is mainly third parties that are releasing stuff everywhere, whereas those kind of games we're talking about tend to be the exclusives. So that's something that Sony are going to show at a PlayStation showcase. Like Death Stranding 2, Sony are going to pay a lot of money to be like, hey, here's the next Death Stranding. I think that's what we'll probably get tomorrow from Xbox in terms of what they're showing. So we'll see what's there. Sony already had theirs a couple of weeks ago and it wasn't great. And at some point we might get a Nintendo Direct in the next sort of couple of weeks, which, hey, maybe they'll show some cool exclusives as well. But you tend not to have that at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah. All right, let's pause for a second. And we're back. Right, okay, we're going to finish talking about what you think is going to be shown at Xbox, or what you want to be shown at Xbox. What would you like to see?
What would I like? Wow. There aren't... The thing is, I've never been a massive Xbox gamer. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I've never been a massive Xbox gamer. So the sort of exclusives that Xbox tend to have, I'm just generally not as much of a fan of. So I think there's been a lot of chat maybe about like Gears of War coming. I've never played a Gears of War game, so that sort of means nothing.
I played one for like 2 hours and was like, this is just,
yeah.
No.
So I'm not really super fussed by that. Or what's coming this year, like we're probably going to get something more on Avowed. We're probably going to get more on Indiana Jones from the start of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm just not massively fussed by either of those things.
Want Flight Sim. Give me Flight Sim. Give me Flight Sim 2024.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will, because they said it was coming out. I'm sure they said it was coming out this summer. I might have been wrong hearing that, but I'd love that. I just hope it's really well optimized, a lot more than the original one. And then, then I can go and bring back Jetstreamers. But Bane said I'd really like another Chivalry game. I never played Chivalry.
No, me neither.
Is Chivalry the one where it's kind of massively multiplayer battles? but it goes a bit chaotic,
but not cozy.
not cozy. But yeah, you can like send a trebuchet and just blow people up and they go flying. And is that Chivalry? Because I think Chivalry 2 came out. I think I bought it because it was really cheap on a sale. But
I don't know. Genuinely never played a Chivalry game.
that's the one. You can throw pans.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, and of course they showed the Dune MMO, didn't they?
They did.
Which I'm interested
We
about.
need to see the film. We need to see the sequel.
I need to watch the first one again because I don't remember
Again?
any.
We watched that quite recently.
Yeah, but I don't remember any of it.
Oh, because you weren't watching.
No, I was. They mumble. And I don't particularly like watching a film the first time with subtitles, but the second time I will. I'm going to watch it with subtitles.
Okay, we'll do that.
Because it's either really, really loud or they're going, Arrakis, come over here and put your hand in the box. That's all I could hear.
Oh.
So,
Will you remember the hand in the box?
oh yeah, because I remember that because I read that bit in the book.
Oh, okay.
That's when I'm like, this book goes on forever. It's a bit too techy.
But yes, Fable. So I played a very small amount of Fable 1 on stream like a year ago or whatever. But I feel like the Fable games are something I would enjoy. So I'm excited to see more of that. But I feel like that's still a long way off. So I'm not expecting to see a lot of that tomorrow, to be honest. I think just overall, I think I'd like to see a strong showing from Xbox. And I know that seems really broad and boring, but I think they've made a lot of bad decisions recently and a lot of bad press, obviously with the layoffs. I mean, that deserves bad press, but just the whole sort of multi-platform thing, and people are just not happy with Xbox. And I think it would be nice for them to just have a really solid, strong show of like, here's some really good games that you can buy on an Xbox. So I would just like to see that, whatever they might be.
I would like to see potential games in the future that could be really good. Like there's a lot of games that they've announced that are coming out. For example, even Redfall, for example, when that was announced and people saw it and was just like, just doesn't, like that game is not going to be a 10 out of 10. I want Xbox to have some first party games that you look at and go, oh, that could be a 10 out of 10. That could be, a game changer. That could be incredible. Whereas not a single one that they've announced. Even Starfield could have been. Sadly, it wasn't. I think Starfield was the last one where it's like, hey, this could be really, really good. Sadly, it wasn't. Well, I enjoyed what I played, but it's not a 10 out of 10 game. But like, for example, when PlayStation announced the Wolverine game or whatever, you're going to be like, oh, that game could be like the game of the year. Like that could be incredible. And something that kind of sells consoles, whereas Xbox doesn't necessarily have that.
Yeah. Dan says, at this point, I'm excited for BioWare showing some of Dragon Age the Veilguard on Tuesday, which I'm not a massive Dragon Age fan.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. Mainly because I like Mass Effect more. But I'm very excited, or interested at least, to see what they've been doing with Dragon Age. I think there's a lot of hype around that game. It's been a long time since Inquisition. I think people are really interested to see what BioWare have been doing, because it's also been a long time since the last Mass Effect game. Anthem was a cock up. So
do you think we'll get more from Mass Effect?
No. Like, because they are focused on Dragon Age right now, and Mass Effect is a good 2, 3, 4 years away yet. So I think they want to focus on Dragon Age first. So I think we're going to get a really good look at that, because that's out this year and we haven't really seen anything.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's going to be a really strong look at gameplay. This is what this game's about. So hopefully it's good. I think it's going to be interesting. And sadly, people are going to make the comparison because it's inevitable. But it's going to be interesting to compare it to Baldur's Gate 3 and be like,
really?
Because it's two big fantasy series.
Yeah, but
that are quite similar in some ways.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what they've learned from that, if anything.
I mean, when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, is like you building romantic relationships with people, is that like a core mechanic as much as they are in kind of the
Dragon
BioWare
Age
games?
is all about banging people.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think it is more of a thing in Dragon Age and Mass Effect than it is in Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is like about relationships, but kind of friendships, whereas Dragon Age and stuff is about romancing, right?
They're both about banging.
Are they really?
Yeah. Just the way I play.
Yeah, probably.
Can we ride the bull again? That's what people want to know.
I've never played a Dragon Age game. I played a little bit of the beginning of Inquisition and fell off it because I just finished The Witcher. But is Inquisition worth playing in 2024? Not sure.
I wasn't a massive fan. For me, like, as much as I joke about banging in a Dragon Age game. For me, I think what they do really well is relationships, and you and your crew, and sort of the relationships between them, and building up those personal stories. That's what they do really well. For me, everything else about Dragon Age was a bit generic. But that's also because I played Mass Effect first, and Mass Effect has the same thing but set in space, and I just kind of preferred Mass Effect.
A few comments in the chat. Widening the Game Pass. One thing I would actually quite like, and I know they're not going to do it, but add a campaign or a story mode, like a proper story mode to Sea of Thieves. Like, I would love if they said Sea of Thieves, because now they've got the servers where you can play without other people. You can play, the PvE servers. Actually, I don't know if they do include other people. They might still have other people, but there's no combat. I wonder, I would quite like, and I know people are going to be like, well, there are stories in there. You can follow quests and you can all do all this. But I'm like, give me like a proper story that everybody does. When they create their Sea of Thieves character, their pirate, there's an actual like proper story with cutscenes maybe, or one that like everybody follows if they want to, reach a certain end, because it is quite confusing when you first start. But I would quite like a proper story with it.
That's fair. I've not played that game.
Apparently, Helia says that it is worth playing Dragon Age, especially if you have the polyamory mod, so you can both romance both Dorian and Iron Ball.
See, I went for Dorian because I was I succumbed to the moustache, but I've since seen people romancing Iron Bull and thought that's a better ride.
Yeah, I don't think Iron Bull's my type.
No, but the dialogue is good.
I mean, I played.
There's no one Twinkie in it, I'm afraid.
No, the hottest character to have a romance was in Mass Effect Andromedus. Is that Andromedus?
Andromeda.
Andromedus is in the chat.
Andromedus is in
Mass
the chat,
Effect Andromeda, and it was the actual your player character. The player character in Mass Effect Andromeda, the male one, was very, very hot.
Scott Ryder.
I did.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, who's the most bangable person in a video game?
As in bangable, or one that is genuinely bangable?
No, bangable in general. Most attractive person in a video game.
Silence.
Yeah. People in chat give us some idea. Omni says Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime.
Ditto. I'm trying to think. The most. It's hard to think of the most because someone will be like, well, actually, yeah, you can think of like somebody who really is. Like,
the thing is, like, I could be really basic and just say like Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I was thinking as well.
But that's just obvious.
Yeah, as in attractive. The professor from Pokemon Scarlet.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Or I think the guy from Stellar Blade is up there.
Not that high.
Yeah, Carlos from Resident Evil 3.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Clive Rosfield, that is a good one as well.
No.
Or Barrett as well.
I mean, to be honest, like, the one voiced by David Mencken. Barnabas.
Oh, really?
Barnabas is good, yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's because you see him naked all the time.
That helps.
Cloud. Yeah, generally Cloud. I'd say Cloud is probably up there.
I like a twink.
A hairless twink, I do.
Yeah. Interesting.
In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, yes. Oh, Origins as well, Bayek.
I mean, it's just a lot of attractive people.
To be honest, I think in Final Fantasy VII Remake, there are lots of really attractive people in Rebirth.
Squall as well.
Oh my god, no, sorry, it's Biggs.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's Biggs. Sorry,
of course.
Is the end.
We're done. We've decided.
Biggs in Remake Rebirth. Yeah, there's literally nobody.
Cedar asked, did Mass Effect Andromeda get better after first launch? I remember trying to play it when it first launched and struggling to enjoy it. I think Andromeda is a better game than people give it credit for, but it's just not as good as the original trilogy. I played it about a year after launch, I think, because it was reduced for about £6. And I didn't really experience any bugs. And like because at launch it was really buggy and messy, and that was the poster child of do not release games in a buggy state, sort of pre-Cyberpunk. And it was nowhere near that bad for me. It's just, I think the combat of Andromeda is great because they really expand on it from the original trilogy, but the story and the characters just aren't as good. And I think that came after Inquisition. And I think for me, Inquisition felt very Mass Effect with dragons. And then Andromeda felt very Dragon Age Inquisition with spaceships, which makes no sense. But they all just felt a bit similar, and I just needed a bit more originality in it.
And I loved Mass Effect Andromeda. That was the first Mass Effect I played, and
Fair.
really enjoyed it and thought this is a really cool space game. And everyone was complaining about it, and I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed it. But that's because I never played the original trilogy, which I'm currently like in the beginning of the second one of the trilogy. I really enjoyed the first one. I played that twice now, I think. But yeah, I just need to actually...
I need you to play Mass Effect.
I need to knuckle down and play. Maybe I've actually got the playthrough, like a few playthrough videos of Mass Effect 2 on YouTube. I will finish that series at some point.
Good.
There's a lot of series I need to finish on YouTube, including Rebirth.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think we'll end it there. Those of you who are watching the live stream, we're going to kind of do an end to the podcast, but stick around because Friday Night Wrestling is coming up on a Saturday.
Good.
Which I need lots of wine for. Or do I need to go to the shop?
Dinner is incoming.
Oh.
I'm really hungry.
Incoming, right. So if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you very, very much. This was Swapping Joysticks with our brand new look. Woo. Although they can be changed, but the logo is all updated. Hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, thank you very, very much. And Ed, where can we find you?
You can find me at ed_nights on Twitch and on Twitter. I am a cozy, chaotic content creator.
No, you're not. You're just chaotic and miserable.
No, I'm hard and soft at the same time.
Yeah. And you can find me Biggest Bennis everywhere. I am chaotic. In other words, I have a personality, and
cozy that you're a nice, normal person.
I'm not cozy because I play Elden Ring, and I do play. I used to play Animal Crossing, but yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, just come find me, Biggest Bennis, and go to swappingjoysticks.com. And make sure you subscribe to us on the old Spotify, or Apple, or YouTube. If you subscribe to us on all of those, then it adds like points to our kind of downloads. And the more downloads and stuff that we get, the more opportunity there is to like get it pushed places.
Nice.
So I think if a lot of people... Guess what? Do you know once I had a politics podcast back in the day? And
did you?
I did. And
never knew.
Did so well that we were on like the front page of Apple podcasts and like the new and noteworthy type thing, or the upcoming one on there. So if people like, and that was just from people like downloading and watching, it just naturally goes up on there. So
there you go.
There you go. Give it a Napster. Are we on Napster? Probably are.
Yeah,
I mean,
try it.
We've got an RSS feed, and if it's one of those that just naturally picks up the RSS feeds, then possibly. I liked BearShare for reasons. Actually, no, the only reason was, I don't know, because I'm not a bear of it. Well, I don't share bears. That's not my cup of tea. But I know I had BearShare. Do you have a BearShare?
No, I've never heard of BearShare.
Kazaa was okay, but then Kazaa, I think, became a little too... I don't know what happened with it. I don't know if it got shut down or whether it just became loads of weird spam and like fake stuff. But BearShare was quite... Yeah, I bet Mr. Wibble would share a bear. It just became a bit... Like BearShare was a bit more... Like you could find better stuff on there.
Should we share a bear?
No, unless I've had a few tequilas.
Okay.
All right, then. For
Let's
those
get a drink,
watching, it's Swapping Joysticks. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.